on now. You're live, it says. All right. Okay. Let me just change this, focus this a little bit, and we'll be ready to go. Yeah, there we are right there. I think that'll do it just nicely. Yep. Okay, everything looks like it's working all right. Yes. All right. Well, we had 21 visitors yesterday. That was wonderful. Okay, we'll see what we get today. All right. So don't go away now. Let me get started. Almost time. Almost time. Don't go away. This is Dr. Ken at high noon. Yes, it is. Dr. Ken at high noon. And we're going to make a little pop here when we turn the microphone on. So get ready. I don't want you to jump out of your seat. Oh, are you ready? There it goes. Pop. There we are. Now we get the microphone going. And welcome. Welcome to Dr. Ken at high noon. And it's not high noon yet, so I do have a couple of announcements to make. And one of them is that we're here every day at high noon, and including Sundays. And so come, spend a few minutes with us. My messages are 15 to 18 minutes. We don't go any longer than that. And it's a message of life. And that's the message that we're getting out to the world. And we have people all around the globe listening. And we did enroll a young pastor in India last week who'd been watching the videos, and he wants to be enrolled in the seminary, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. But we're here every day of the week at high noon. We want you to tune in every time we talk. We tell you how you can become a believer in Jesus for everlasting life, and all the things that you get when you have everlasting life. So you don't want to miss it. And we're giving you the whole story, and that's what God wants us to do, and that's what we're doing every day around the globe. And then and I want to tell you about South Florida Baptist Seminary. It's a wonderful seminary. It's the best seminary in the world as far as I know. I've been to 3 seminaries, graduated from 2 of them, and I know this is I know what seminaries are like, and this is the best available. I'm sure of that. And we just graduated a class, our 3rd class, and we're going to start the 4th class August 5th. So that's only about 5 weeks away, maybe 4 weeks away. And so there's still time to enroll in South Florida Baptist Seminary. There's no tuition charge, and the books are free, and there's no classes, no tests, no lecture halls. We use the Socratic method, which is the most effective method there is today, or any day really, invented by Socrates over 2,000 years ago. And now we found that the classroom and the lecture hall are no longer useful, they're not effective, and they're too expensive. And so some colleges and even high schools have started using the Socratic method. As far as I know, this is the first seminary that's started to use the Socratic method. And it's what we do is we give you a list of books that we're going to be reading in during the course of the year, and then we make assignments in those books every week, and then we meet in seminars. They're not meetings really, but they're kind of like a meeting. But a seminar is a place where you learn, you discuss what you've read, and by discussing it and reciting your feelings about it and what you understand, what you learned, you remember it, and it develops in your mind, and it develops your faith. And that's a seminary is not an academic institution. It's an environment conducive to the growth of Christian faith, and that's what it does best. And last graduation we had a couple of weeks ago, the students graduating kept saying over and over again they can't believe how much they learned in 1 year of studying at South Florida Baptist Seminary. and I remember that in the seminars they go for an hour, and then they're over, and I have to tell them, I have to go home and get some badly needed beauty sleep, but they stay, and I don't know how long they stay. I know the place closes at 9 o'clock, but they love it. They don't even want to go home. They just stay there and continue talking about what they've been reading. And so it's a wonderful way to learn. It's fun. It doesn't cost you anything. The books that you're going to read are great. They're classics, and they're exciting. And you learn a lot about Christian ministry. Now, it's not a vocational school, but you can use it for a vocation. You can become a pastor, a missionary, Sunday school teacher, you can be a minister of education. Any of those things are possible. Or maybe you could just want to be a pillar in the church, and that's good. A seminary education will help you to understand. It's actually inadvertently, it's the ultimate discipleship program. The seminary is, and so anyone can enroll in the seminary and profit from it. It'll be helpful to anyone. The only requirement to be enrolled in the seminary is you have to be able to read the English language, because we don't have the books translated yet into other languages. We may have them someday soon, but not yet. We have a couple of them in Spanish, and of course you could use Google Translate and do the whole book, but it'd be a little cumbersome. And so we're going to do something soon. Maybe we're going to read them in different languages and record them, and it'll be helpful to some people who can't read them themselves. But in the meantime, if you can read the English language, you're in. Just call me, and I'll get you enrolled. I'll take care of it myself personally, and I'll give you my phone number, I think. I thought it was. Let's see if I can find it here. And I'll give you a phone number where you can call me and tell me that you want to enroll in seminary, and I will take care of it personally. I don't know what happened to that phone number up there, and I don't know the number myself right now. But I'll tell you what, I'll give it to you tomorrow. I'll make sure I find it and get it up here for you. It was been up here for weeks, months, and now it's gone. Oh my! Well, anyway, and well, here's my email address, and it's sailor2680@yahoo.com. Sailor2680@yahoo.com. Just send me an email and tell me your name, and I can tell me a little bit about yourself, where you live, and what your Christian experience has been so far, and I'll get you enrolled in the seminary. And you don't have to live in Florida. You don't ever have to even come to Florida. You can, as long as you live someplace that has internet service, and you can get that internet service, because we broadcast the seminars, and you can participate in the seminars as they're being broadcast. You can tap right on the screen there and ask questions or make comments, and it's a wonderful experience. And somebody will be there monitoring the comments and share those with the rest of the group, and so you can do that all from your computer or your laptop or your cell phone, and go through the whole course that way. But if you can come here, that's good too. But it's not required that you come here, and the seminars are not technically required, but they're recommended, and you're going to love them. You're going to want to miss. You're not going to want to miss any of them, because they're all packed and good, and they're only an hour long. Okay, and so we're getting right. We only have about half a minute left, and it'll be high noon, and so it's called the South Florida Baptist Seminary, best seminary in the world. And Jesus wants you to come and get the seminary training. You'll be a much more effective servant in His kingdom, and so give it a try and see what you can do. It takes about an hour a day to read the material, and then 1 hour a week for a seminar. And so it's not too big a schedule, and yet it's exciting, and you learn a lot. Okay, it's high noon, and this is Dr. Ken at high noon. That's what we call the broadcast, and I'm Dr. Ken. That's right, and I'm the president of the seminary and a pastor of a church, and we broadcast the service at the church. Well, we broadcast the sermon anyway, and at 10 o'clock on Sunday mornings, we broadcast an international Sunday school lesson taught by Dr. Jeannie, and then at about 11:30 or 11:40, they let me get up there in the pulpit and let me preach a sermon, Sunday morning sermon to the congregation. And then at 12 o'clock, we switch over to Dr. Ken at high noon. So you get a Dr. Ken at high noon message every day of the week, including Sundays. All right, and so we've had quite a lot of people watching them, and we're getting good feedback. And keep it up. You folks who have been coming for a while, I love you, appreciate you. It's exciting that you are coming. Keep coming and bring your friends and spread the word around, because we're not advertising this anyway. We're just telling people about it, and you tell your friends about it, and they may be just waiting for something like this, and they want to watch them. People tell me that they've been watching the videos. Sometimes I can tell by looking at the computer who's been watching it, but that doesn't work on all of them. All right, so today we're going to be in Matthew chapter 28, verse 19 and 20, and this is about baptism. Wow, what a big subject that is among Christians. I mean, people have killed each other over their disagreements about baptism. That's right. And some people have written big, thick books. I saw one time, it was in 2 volumes, take up that much room on your space, on your bookcase, and all about baptism. Wow. And so baptism is a big subject, and so it's appropriate, I think, that we talk about it just briefly today. And so here's the verse. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Well, those are two great verses about baptism. And Jesus wants us to baptize people. Let me tell you, this baptism is an ordinance of the church, and it's a wonderful experience to get baptized. Now, I was baptized when I was about 15, I think, in a little Methodist church, and they never heard anything about personal salvation, and didn't mean very much to me. But I got baptized. It was worth something. And then I got baptized when I was in the Navy, when I had an experience believing Jesus for everlasting life. And another sailor friend of mine had given me a gospel tract which told me that I had to believe in Jesus for everlasting life, and then I could go to be with him in paradise and spend forever in paradise on the new earth. And wow, but it said you have to believe in Jesus for everlasting life. And I said, wow, I don't know if I've ever done that. Never heard of personal salvation. And so right there, I was by myself. It was late at night, and I've been carrying that tract around in my pocket for a long time. And so I finally read it, and I was shaking. I was trembling. And so I believed in Jesus for everlasting life. I've never been the same since. And then had the chaplain on the base there baptized me. I said, I want to get baptized. He said, okay, I can do that. So he sprinkled me. Well, that's what they did in the Methodist church too. That's what they do. They sprinkle. Most of the Methodist churches do it that way. In fact, most of the churches in the world do it that way. They sprinkle you, and they call that baptism. There's no verse in the entire New Testament that talks about sprinkling to baptize people, sprinkling them with water. Although I know most people do it that way. Well, so he sprinkled me, and that was nice because at least I was a Christian then, believing in Jesus for everlasting life. And then when I came to South Florida, I got interested in a Baptist church, and they said, you have to be baptized by immersion. Oh, okay. They said, well, that's what the word baptized means. It means to be immersed. And we have a pool up in the back of the church, and we put you in a robe and take you down in the water, and you are immersed in the water. And I said, oh, okay, it's all right with me. I like the water, and I'll try that. And that was one of the richest experiences, because they published in their bulletin, which they mailed to hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people in this town, the names of the people who got baptized. And my name was in there. And for the next month or two, people all over town, when they'd see me, they'd say, hey, I understand you got baptized. And then we talk about that some. And just one right after another, people, when they saw me, they would come and speak to me and say, I noticed you got baptized. And God bless you. And I didn't even know these people knew who I was, but they did. And they were impressed that I got baptized, and they were very hopeful for